Hey guys, this is Comic Uno. Today I'm doing a review for The Flash, issue 19. But before I start talking about this issue, just want to give you guys a little update that I have 3 reviews that I usually do on Comic Uno that I did on DarkAvengerINC this week, which are Fantastic Four, issue 7, Wolverine and X-Men, issue 28, and New Avengers, issue 5. So if you want to go check out those reviews, just go in the description below and there'll be a link for DarkAvengerINC. But let's talk about The Flash, issue 19. Let's see this gatefold cover. I think this is the last week we're seeing gatefold covers, so I guess enjoy it while it lasts. We get to see Reverse Flash in this gatefold cover. It's a little misleading. We only get to see Reverse Flash in the last part of this issue, so it's a little misleading. But, I guess for the last part, it's a good gatefold cover. But again, I think more people would be like, oh, Reverse Flash, finally, a story with him. But we really don't get to see that in this issue. So a little bit of a misleading cover. But of course, Francis Manapul's art makes the art for the cover amazing. I love his art. So, but we don't get to see that art except for the last page of this issue. So too bad Francis Manapul wasn't doing the art for this issue. But hopefully he comes back in the next issue. Hopefully. I think he's taking a break. He took a break last issue also, so maybe it's just for the story arc. So in this issue we get to see the people stuck in this the Speed Force from issues ago and now having powers. They want to help some crime that's happening at the prison. And Barry's there without powers. You have to see Dial H if you want to see what happened there. But he has no powers. He's trying to get the prankster. He doesn't think the prankster did anything wrong. Or is it called a prankster? I think he is. No, trickster, I'm sorry. The trickster. He doesn't think the trickster did anything wrong. So he's trying to unframe him, but also figure out who did do something wrong. And without powers. And that's why the people from the Speed Force are trying to help Barry, and they do go there. And one of the people that was from the Speed Force but didn't have powers, which is Marissa, who's actually the wife of the one of the people that did get powers for the Speed Force, is also helping one of these guys. So we're gonna at least see some powers here because Barry doesn't have powers in this issue. But we find out that the person who framed the trickster was actually Marissa, so she did have powers, and that's what the Flash finds out, and he gets his powers back, and he's like, oh, well, that was weird, that I didn't have powers for a little while, and he finds out that this has something to do with Dial H and nothing to do with him. So that was pretty much a really waste of time for the Dial H thing. But that's what happens. We find out that Marissa had powers and is the one who stole these diamonds that she framed Trickster for. And that leads Iris to be the only person that hasn't had powers who is at the Speed Force also. So that's interesting. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And also we get to see a little bit of ending with Reverse Flash, like I said, and he wants to kill one of the people that got powers from the Speed Force to drag, I think to actually get Flash's attention, but he's like, well, I don't have to kill him, I could reverse time. So that's, Reverse Flash thing, I guess just to prove that he is Reverse Flash, or to prove that this guy is not dead yet, or he could die. So I think that could be interesting. Of course, Reverse Flash is going to be a very interesting story, and I'm glad he's kind of creeping his way into the series. Not totally being in the story, but every issue you have a little bit of him. I thought this issue was not as good as usual. It wasn't a bad issue. It's just that Flash is always great. And with this issue, it felt very forced with the Dial H stuff. I didn't read the Dial H issue, but pretty much explained what happened with that crossover. It pretty much seemed forced that they put Flash there. They really resolved everything with this issue saying, oh, well, I lost my powers, but how? Oh, it has something to do with Dial H. Learn more on Dial H. It was like, oh, well, you're really trying to sell me that series. So that was a little upset with because it was so obvious that they were doing that in this issue, and that's why I didn't pick up Dial H, because I was like, wow, you're really forcing this. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to need to read it, and I really didn't. And I think this issue was really just trying to get back to normal after that crossover, and that's why I didn't love it. But, the writers for this series is really good at getting everything back to normal and adding some stuff in this issue, even though this issue could have been totally just trying to get everything back to normal after the stupid Dial H crossover that really wasn't needed. But they added some good stuff in here that progressed the other stories also, and that's why I did like this issue. It could have been a lot worse, but they did their whole crossover thing with also adding other stuff. And the other stuff is the Speed Force story, which I think is going to continue for a little while. And that's something I'm very interested in. Does Iris have powers? I think maybe she does. And if she doesn't, why doesn't she? And I think with Marissa having powers also now, and being a bad person, which was kind of weird, but that made it interesting, this story, made it a cool cliffhanger. It's interesting to see where Iris is going to go with this. And I think this is the whole point of the Speed Force stories, not for everyone else who got powers, but to see where Iris is going and how Barry's going to have to follow Iris. And he even says that in this issue, I'm going to have to follow Iris to see what's going on with her, keep tabs on her. Why does she have powers, or does she have powers? So I think that's really interesting. With Iris with powers, that could be cool, you know, something different with Iris, or at least to get Barry to get closer to Iris. So I think that was kind of cool in this story. And of course, Reverse Flash is interesting in the series. Again, I don't know if it was really needed with the cover. That was a little misleading. You know, there's misleading things in this issue. But again, I think he's just creeping his way into the series to have that humongous story arc. And that's what I like. And he's now attacking the Speed Force story. So obviously Barry is following that Speed Force story, and he's going to find Reverse Flash. I think it's going to be the next issue, because the all-new Reverse Flash is here, and no one in Barry's life is safe. So, the Reverse Flash seems like his big issue is going to be next issue. So again, I think this issue is more about, let's get everything back to normal, let's add some little stuff here, but the big issue is coming up next. So that's why I thought this issue was just okay, but really, again, it doesn't mean the series is bad. It just means that they had to get back for that whole Doll Age thing, which I knew that was going to happen. So, I give this 3.5, even though I want to give it higher, because the Flash series, I can see it's going in a great direction. It's just that this issue wasn't the best, and the art wasn't Francis Manapul. Still good art, though. It's just kind of disappointing when you don't get to see Francis Manapul's art, because, again, he's a great artist, and you get to see that his art in this series, since he's on this series, writing it and drawing it. But you know that he has to take breaks sometimes. But still great art, too. Just a little disappointed it wasn't Francis Manapul's art. But again, still a good issue, just not perfect. So I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. Pick up the next issue. I know I'm going to be. Follow the series, even though this issue, again, you didn't have to read the last issue or this issue, but I'm liking where this series is going. It's really under the radar series. Pick it up. So 3.5 stars. Hope you guys enjoy this. Comic Uno, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the rant situations, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.